The Houston Rockets are making history. The 2021-2022 Houston Rockets are making history, and I'm not exaggerating, because they have become the first team in NBA, MLB, NHL, NFL history to win 6 in a row after losing 15 in a row. And you could say that's maybe a little bit of an ESPN kind of stat. It is, okay. But if you're not impressed from that, let me just go a little step further, because prior to that, you want to go back their last 68 NBA games spanning back to last season. 68 NBA games. Do you know how many games they won in that period of time prior to this 6-game win streak? Take a guess. 7. 7 over 68 as opposed to 6 over 6. So if you're not impressed by a record that they've set, which might be an ESPN-y kind of stat, you've got to be impressed by the fact that they've pretty much doubled their win tally in nearly a season in the space of 6 games. That is pretty much incredible, and they've done it the right way, because it hasn't just been through the easiest schedule. Sure, they've had some easy games, but they've also managed to beat Chicago. They've beat the Charlotte Hornets. Even the New Orleans Pelicans came in as a team that was about 500 over their last 6 games prior to that. So they've done it the right way. They're playing the right way, and it's good to see, because no team should go 7 of 68. Just no team should do that, and they don't look like they're going to go back to that, because I think the Rockets have found what they can play at and the level they can play at, and let's talk about that. Now, before I get into that, if you could drop a like in the video, that would be much appreciated. I make content like this close to every single day, and doing so really helps out. I haven't made a Rockets video in a while because I just didn't really want to kind of pile in on them while they were really struggling. It was a tough scene. Let's actually get rid of the only negative that I've heard people kind of coming up with for this Rockets win streak, and it's Jalen Green. Oh, Jalen Green's gone out of the lineup, that's why they're winning. Okay, you're just hating. You're just hating, okay? We all want our rookies to be better. I know Pistons fans, Cade Cunningham, and Cavs fans, Evan Mobley, and Raptors fans, Scotty Barnes, etc., etc. That's cool, okay? But that doesn't mean we're going to just pin all of this on Jalen Green. Oh, they were terrible because of Jalen Green. I mentioned what they were last year. This was a long time coming. The Rockets had struggled for a long time before Jalen Green. It's not just that he goes out and they turn into a super team. No, okay? Now, you could argue that Eric Gordon coming in has made an impact because he's got back to his best form, but I'm not going to blame that on Jalen Green. I'm just going to say Eric Gordon's playing better basketball recently, and that has helped them win, but it's not solely that either. I mean, look at Ja Morant. The Grizzlies have won 5 in a row without Ja Morant and had a historic win. A historic win. So, do you want to blame Ja Morant for that as well? That's all I'm saying. Just touched on him before. Eric Gordon has been fantastic. There's a lot of guys that have been fantastic, and we're looking at the last 6 games. And I had to look back and watch some of these games. That's the beauty of the internet, because I'll be honest, I wasn't watching the Rockets actively, but that's the beauty. You can go back, you can watch replays, and what I've seen is Eric Gordon, he's shooting nearly 50% from the field, 46% from 3. He's been lights out. But just to get about 16-4 out of Eric Gordon, and even with KPJ missing the last game and a half, he's become a little bit of a ball handler. He set up the offense a little bit as well. He's not the playmaker that KPJ is, which we'll talk about, because he's someone that, similar to Jalen Green, got a lot of slack for his early start to the season, when there's quite a few factors that I want to actually discuss with him, but I'll talk about that in a little bit. He's not the same playmaker, but he's still been able to set up the offense decently enough. And in general, his shooting, just his overall impact has been huge. But he's not been the best three-point shooter on this team. Not over this stretch. It's this man right here, Garrison Matthews. This man is the key right here. This man is the key right here. Well, kind of not really joking, because over the last 6 games, and he's only played about 9 games on the season or something, over the last 6 games, he is averaging practically 4 3-point makes a game, which is incredible. For reference, he's 3rd in the NBA over that period of time, just behind Stephen Curry, Kelly Oubre Jr., who somehow is up there, but he's taking a lot of threes. Garrison Matthews is shooting nearly 50% on volume, and he's not even really demanding the ball. He just spots up in the corner. He comes off screens. He gets to the right spots. He relocates, and he's just creating an outlet for Jae'Sean Tate. He's creating an outlet for Christian Wood. He's opening up the floor for Kevin Porter Jr. He has been incredible for this team. Like, needless to say, you look at the numbers, you look at the impact, he's also playing defense as well. And I'm not going to say Garrison Matthews is the sole reason for this win streak, because you're going to see a common theme. Pretty much everyone on this Rockets team has improved their play, which has been great as a whole, but he's helped a lot. He's been fantastic, and I think he's been one of the more unsung heroes just in the NBA in general over these last 6 games, and he could be on his way to a little big payday. Shout out to him because he's been great. Also, Armani Brooks as well, another 3-point shooter. Just in general, the 3-point shooting of the Rockets has improved a ton. In general, it's not just individual players, it's this team. They're top of assists over the last 6 games. They're third in 3-point makes, third in 3-point percentage. Their offensive rating, I think they're third. I'll have it right here. They've been fantastic offensively. A lot of it comes from Daniel Tice moving out of the starting lineup. You've opened up the floor for Christian Wood, who's averaging about 24 points a game if you exclude the OKC Thunder game in which he had to leave early and only recorded 0 points in about 7 minutes. But if you exclude that, averaging about 24 points a game, he's been ridiculous, shooting 56% from 3. Like, these guys have the torch on right now. That's not going to continue, okay? They're not going to continue with these guys all shooting absolutely lights out. But the ball movement is creating better looks. There's absolutely no doubts about that. The more spacing is creating better looks. You're getting better play from Kevin Porter Jr. And I may as well talk about him right now because a lot of people are critical of Kevin Porter Jr. Oh, he's not a point guard. He's not this, he's not that. I'm not coming on here to say he's destined to be a point guard because maybe his future is as a 2 guard. Who knows? Maybe a 3. They saw him in Cleveland. He did that there. And defensively, he's got the physical size and the ability to potentially be that. But what I will say is he is someone that has played less than 100 games. 60 of them were in Cleveland, where he was not remotely a point guard, so he didn't really have much playmaking duties at all there. He spent 15 games in the G League, 25 games at the end of the season with the Rockets, and now 15 games to start the season. So he spent about 45 games of his G League and NBA career as a point guard, and people wanted to write him off because he was pretty turnover prone on a team that was 1-15 through the first 16 games of the season and was struggling. That is Kevin Porter Jr.'s fault. Okay, so that's what people were saying. It's good to see he's turned that around. He's been a lot better as a playmaker. He's creating opportunities for Christian Wood in the pick and roll. It's good to have a guy like Christian Wood, obviously, because he makes life a lot easier because he is an insane lob threat. He's a pick and pop threat. You could say the same for Alperen Şengün. Obviously not the same level of lob threat, but he's got some options around him. The shooting has helped. The overall offense is flowing. It's not sticking in one person's hands too much, which you love to see. And Kevin Porter Jr. has been a beneficiary, and all of a sudden it looks like, oh, maybe he's just getting more comfortable. So let's give him to the end of the season. There's no rush. They don't have anyone else. Well, they do have one person sitting in the wings, but he is 32 on a $50 million contract that no one wants, so you know, well, it's probably a disservice that I've got this far through the video and haven't mentioned the pride of Turkey himself, Alperen Şengün. Alperen Şengün has been great. I'm someone who only saw his highlights internationally after he got drafted and then saw a couple of full games of him in Summer League, but you could see he had something different, right? Seeing those full games, seeing how he reads the play, he's got an array of post moves. Defensively, he was really impressive in Summer League, and he's been pretty solid at the NBA level. He's not quite there yet. He's still fouling quite a lot, which is something that he needs to work on. It's very common. It happens all the time to young bigs. But offensively, he's shown a lot. He has shown a lot. He's shown that he can play make, he can create opportunities, his reads, his just ability to process the game. You see him set screens for shooters and create opportunities that way, which you don't often see to the level he does as a rookie big, but that's why he was the MVP in a grown man league over in Turkey. So he has proven that he can put up numbers against grown men, and we're seeing it. We're seeing it. He'll take players off the dribble and he'll dunk on them like he did against OKC. He'll hit you with a spin move and then get to the rim like we've seen in multiple games. Or he'll hit you with a pass that just shows his recognition of the play and his ability to read and break down defenses. He can pick and pop. He can pick and roll. He can play make out of the short pick and roll. There's really not much he can't do. Am I saying he is the next Nikola Jokic or something of that nature? The center that can do absolutely everything? Let's not get ahead of ourselves yet. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. But so far, it's incredibly promising for someone who was picked 16th and looked like a steal after Summer League, is definitely looking like a steal right now and is looking like, we've seen some minutes with Christian Wood and Şengün. Interested to see if they will look to do that again, or it's just something that they'll try to move on from Christian Wood and build with Şengün. Either way, he's going to be a starter or have to be a starter pretty damn soon. Might not be this year. He might still play about 20 minutes a night for the rest of the season as he works on some things defensively, fouling, and stuff of that nature. But soon enough, he is going to be a guy that's going to need 30 minutes a night if he keeps this up and if the Rockets continue to look better with him on the floor. Look, I could go through the whole Rockets roster because, like I said, everyone has improved, but I just wanted to highlight some of the guys that have been the keys. That would be rude of me to not say Jae'Sean Tate as well because he's really developed as a playmaker. He showed in flashes last year, but I'm seeing him making reads off the dribble more consistently, finding rollers and cutters and finding open shooters like Garrison Matthews, also having some big scoring nights. Well, one in particular, when Christian Wood went down against OKC, he steps up with the 30-point game in a comeback. So, like, you're just seeing it all across the board from these Rockets players. I'm excited to see what Jalen Green can do when he comes back because while people are saying that he might be affecting the team negatively, the way I see it is, this team is now playing better. They're moving the ball better. They've got guys that have more defined roles. They've cleared out Daniel Tyson. They've opened up the floor for guys to get downhill. Kevin Porter Jr. is thriving from that. Jae'Sean Tate, Eric Gordon, all of these guys. Jalen Green is going to be the same. He showed in glimpses towards the last few games before his injury that he was starting to piece it together. I think he's going to be good towards the end of the season. Shout out to the Rockets because they deserved it.